Good evening, everyone. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Alcazar?
Present.
Mr. Ann-Barrenson is here. Ms. Ford? Ms. Ford?
Here, sorry, I was muted. Here.
Okay. And Ms. Francois is not with us yet. Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
And Chairwoman DeVoe.
Here. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 231 New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the giving of notice to the Courier News, posting the agenda in the public lobby of this building 48 hours prior to the meeting, delivery of this notice to the Franklin Township Clerk at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, and mailing notice to those persons properly requesting to be mailed notification of meetings at least 48 hours prior to this meeting.
Madam Chairwoman, just for the record, I also want to add that the meeting's also held in compliance with Chapter 11 of Public Law 2020 regarding the emergency declaration by the governor and his continuing executive orders permitting such meetings to be held via virtual proceedings, which this one is by utilizing the GoToMeeting application.
Thanks, Dominic.
No problem.
Do I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
Motion.
And second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Seeing that there are none, if I'm correct, from the public, do I have a motion to close the meeting for public comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't see somebody from the public, but I see Bill Bowman is on here from the Franklin Reporter. So I don't know if he's public or if he's supposed to be as a regular member of the authority.
He is considered public. Bill, do you have anything? Okay.
He's muted.
I have nothing. Thanks very much.
No problem. With that, is there anyone else? With that, do I have a motion to close the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The approval, next we will do the approval of minutes, the working session and the monthly board meeting from August 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting?
Motion.
And second?
Second.
Who made the motion?
Second.
Arnie.
Okay, thank you.
With that, will we need a roll call or?
Yes, roll call on that one.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Alcazar?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
And Chairwoman DeVoe?
Yes. With that, the approval of the executive session on July 6th, do I have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Second.
Mr. Alcazar?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. And the executive session from August 3rd, do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion.
Second, easy.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. With that, we will move to executive summary and professional reports by our interim executive director, Joe Danielson.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Good evening. So, starting from the top of the list, the Brookline Avenue Sewer Rehab Project, which is also tied to the Somerset Street Pump Station Rehab. We did have a meeting with the iBank on September 2nd. That meeting was regarding our funding options, and if with an attempt to confirm if a co-op purchasing option existed, and it does. That is, in substitute of a public bid process. They will allow it. They gave us guidance and instructions to get us there, and we're in that process now. Bid documents have been completed, contract documents completed, and we're waiting for the DP final review before they give us the authorization to advertise. So the Western Canal Force Main Emergency Rehabilitation, if you recall, we had phase 1 was the break last year, phase 2 was the break this year, phase 3 was completing the rehab of that force main. That rehabilitation work on phase 3 did complete. We do have a final payment pending for phase 2. And we do expect delays on phase 3 because of the supply chain. So we're staging materials as they come in, and we'll begin phase 3 as soon as possible. I will note that there are going to be more delays on phase 3 because of the flood damage that we suffered over the past week. I think I sent all of you images, aerial images of the pump station. So if you notice, there's 2 more projects we put on the board in the last week: the Western Canal Pump Station flood emergency repair. So basically, you all know that that pump station was completely submerged, almost completely submerged, and was damaged to the point is out of operation currently. So until we repair that pump station, Scott and his crew immediately engaged a company that would come and put the pump station into bypass mode. And that's going to be for a number of months until we could go into phase 5 of this project, which would be repairing that pump station. So the items that were destroyed were the 2 non-submersible pumps that became submerged, and much of the critical components of the electronics. And more than likely, the generator portion of the emergency generator, as it got flooded 10 years ago, that also had to go out and get dried out and rebuilt and reinstalled. So I need everybody to understand that we are currently in phase 3 of the Western Canal Pump Station rehab, but the bypass would be a stage 4, the repair would be stage 5. And then I spoke to staff today. At some point, we're going to have to go into phase 6 to redesign that pump station if we want any hope of having any flood protection. That pump station is at river level. It's only a few feet above the river. And this is at least the 3rd time this pump station has been flooded. So I think that the board should make a commitment along with me that we address this pump station, rehabilitate it from the ground up, and allow it to operate with complete flood protection. What that means in the end, I don't know, but for example, it may be lifting it up 12 feet, maybe building waterproof walls around it. I don't know, but we're going to be talking about that more in the future. Commerce Drive pump station rehab. We did have an on-site visit and review by CME. Next steps after they did send us some documents to review after with the alternatives and options after our staff reviews and comments on them. We'll schedule another meeting to finalize a path going forward for that rehabilitation. Marcy Street rehabilitation sewer shed collection area. The work has begun. We had a construction progress meeting on August 23rd. It went very well. Currently, the contractors are replacing the laterals. They will be then relining the main pipe and then relining again with the laterals that they just installed. So progress is going well. 3 of the homeowners went out of their way to pay the contractor compliments. So the Hamilton Street pump station, as you know, that is complete. That did complete $171,000 under the project bid. But the final documents will be completed in the very near future. And we did settle a utility crossing charge or pay app the contractor was asking for, but it appears CME and the contractor have come to an agreement.
Right.
So East Millstone Pump Station rehabilitation, I'm going to reemphasize, we are experiencing delays with that due to the supply chain, but everything else is moving forward well. Small delay involving the shop drawings and the engineering. They are close to moving forward on that. The Historic Preservation Committee was very interested in the project. I did review it. They may end up using a temporary emergency generator to avoid needing to move the gas line. Howard, did I understand that correctly? Instead of having PSEG prove us to move the gas line, we could use possibly an emergency generator instead?
Correct. The contractor is going to stop by when Scott has some time. He's going to look at it, but he was interested in using that to defer costs, but also to expedite when he needs to.
Thank you. High Bay Garage, if you recall, we did stop and then restart that so we could redesign it using optics of a 10-year growth plan of the authority. The building footprint will be reviewed by the authority staff. We have to design the building, then design the foundation. We were talking about the consideration approaching Sourcewell for the co-op to supply the building. Hopefully that'll work out. We're working on that. And then a public bid we will need to go out to public bid at a minimum to have a company construct the building. Somerset Street pump station rehab, that's tied to the Brookline area rehab, as you well know. CDM will submit a proposal to the authority for the rehabilitation. They will take into account the new I&I that we're experiencing since the crew that made that repair along 27. So that repair did stop much of the I&I that we were seeing at the pump station. So the authority to date has been unable to get a quote for the replacement of the windows and doors for our buildings. So I reminded the engineer that we have to put documents together to go out to public bid for that, just to inspire companies to offer to provide us with the materials and the labor on that, because we were unable to do it on our own or through a co-op. I believe that concludes my summary. Would you like me to go right into my executive director's report?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do that, let me just ask Scott to give his operations report.
Right.
The reason why I want to do that early on is we just experienced a tremendous rainfall and flooding, and his crew's been out since the first raindrop. They've not only been running our authority in the field, but they've been dealing with emergencies, flooded pump station, overflowing pump stations. They've been really doing God's work, and I want him to have a fresh breath as he's presenting his operations report. So, Chairman, if you'd indulge me, allow Scott to give his operations report.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott, and your crew for being out during this time. I know it's definitely not easy, but definitely appreciate it.
Chairwoman, it's been a very difficult week, holiday weekend as well. As Joe stated, you got the report in front of you, but just to touch up on Weston Canal, we officially are on bypass. We did experience some issues today with the bypass. We believe we overcome them, and we're moving forward. The mechanical and electrical guys were on site today, assessing the damages inside the station. Some components were removed out of the cabinets, and that's moving forward. This is, fortunately, authority, but unfortunately, as a whole, this is the third time I experienced this. I was here for 99 in Floyd, in 2011 with Irene. As we started, we knew exactly what steps we had to take, and those motions went into effect right away. Unfortunately, we have to live through this again. With that said, I'll go into the monthly report. For our Meadow Avenue pump station, we had a grinder failure, which was a large channel grinder prior to the wet well. The grinder had a failed reducer, speed reducer. That unit was swapped out for a working unit, and the reducer was ordered and was expected about 6 weeks from time of order. Our crew flushed the force main at Stonehenge pump station. The DPW did us a big solid this month and helped us out at East Millstone pump station, as we had a bunch of tree work that needed to be addressed prior to the upgrade to the East Millstone pump station. There were several trees that hung over the station that needed to be removed so that they can get the new building in and so forth, as well as it'll keep a lot of the algae and growth from the trees and not seeing any sunlight. All that was done by DPW with some assistance of our laborers, and it worked well. Somerset Street was on bypass for Tropical Storm Henri. That was about 2 weeks ago, where we saw just under 4 inches of rain here in Somerset. We were on bypass as well during Tropical Storm Ida as well, where we saw over 7 inches of rain here in Somerset. So it's been some trying times. Commerce Drive, as Joe stated, CME was on site with some of their junior engineers, I believe, to take some dimensions and document existing conditions there so that we could come up with a plan for the upgrade to that station. As reported last month, we are still waiting on material to complete the fence for Weston Canal Phase 2, as well as Phase 3 is on hold as we wait on material, as Joe had stated, and we will see more delays as well due to the damage to the station. We had no odor complaints for the month. Under our sewer flushing program, the guys flushed 48,649 feet of gravity sewer. Our current estimate from March of 2021 to present is 16%. Joe updates you on Marcy Street. The contractors came back to work today. Unfortunately, was unable to get to the site last week after the storm. So they started the work project again today, installing laterals. So that's moving forward. There was a damaged manhole on the corner of Randolph and Weston Canal Road. It appears there may have been a car that struck a manhole that sits off into the right-of-way. We were notified by a passerby that it was knocked off. Our guys went out there, pushed it back on, cemented it back in place, no other damage. Checked with the police department. There was no accident that was noted, so it was probably like a hit and run. No accidents or injuries for the month of June. Current month's connections are 0. Total to date is 1. Anticipated for the fiscal year is 187. With that said, the guys have been working hard. A lot of us pretty much been living here right now due to the storm that we suffered with Ida. And we're expecting anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches of rain tomorrow. Just letting you know, when you sign some of these bills and checks, it's not that we want the overtime to be through the roof. It's right now we're just dealing with some trying times. It's been tough on everybody, but we're getting through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. All right, Chairwoman, under revenue, as of July 31st, we received in checks $2,074,458.36. Year to date, we collected $3,077,616.40. Our open balance that is due us is $3,386,969.87. Penalties for the month of July were $19,076.00. For expenses, our expenditures were $1,985,432.65 as of July 31st. The year-to-date expenditures were $2,306,908.32. Our cash position is in the unrestricted category is $1,148,296.47. For restricted is $13,126,906.10. Under designated is $6,871,005.66. A total position is $21,146,208.23. So for discussion items under budget, our audit process has begun. On-site work did begin on August 9th through the 20th. We are currently assisting the auditor in their process of follow-up questions and provided the requested information. The Bank of New York, which is our trustee, did a formal calculation, which is completed for the requirements of 1, or A, our bond revenue account, and B, our bond reserve fund. And they are both funded as is appropriate. You'll see those are the two big accounts under the Bank of New York in our cash report. So our escrow and maintenance accounts, we did receive approval from the New Jersey Treasury. We are in the process of setting up the wire transfer. There's a correction to my report. There was a confusion under conflicting reports that was submitted to me. Under connections, we have 0 units for July. My report says 1, but it's actually 0. It's 1 connection year to date. We did make GIS updates and corrections where the discrepancies were discovered. Staffing strength, I just want to remind the commissioners that we do have 2 open positions, one to be filled right away, one to be filled in 2 months from now. we did successfully interview 4 candidates. One that was through one of our manager, and 3 that came in through the community. I was very happy with that. In the next 2 weeks, we'll select and make offer letters to fill those 2 positions. Southbound Brook, we have no response yet from them. They did receive and they are reviewing our proposal to them. Marcy Street Rehab Project versus American Water, that's a work in progress. Newark, New Brunswick, water and sewer bill, again, no response from them. Archiving of documents, digital documents have arrived and we did inspect them. The digital storage method, how we put them on our network and how we store them and name them is our top priority. In addition to the physical storage or the removal process, that will be reviewed not only by me and Christian, but we'll have the authority's attorney review our process as well. The New Jersey GIF broker, I need to consult with them very closely regarding the flood damage and to see how our insurance plays into this damage and how FEMA money, if it's available, how that plays in. But hopefully we can get a good chunk or all of the money that we're going to be spending on the repair process for the Weston Canal pump station. The community virus monitor. So we are at the very end of collecting, obtaining quotes for the service. I just want to bring to your attention, there's two services we're really looking for. One is the collection of the samples, and 2 is the actual lab work. So Christian is at the final stages of collecting. Christian, I think you're waiting for one more quote to come in. Is that correct? This way we have 3 quotes. I'm gonna jump on the amnesty. So the weatherproofing technologies, that is, that's the company or the, that was our approach of replacing the doors and windows, and we just couldn't get any bids. No, I'm sorry, weatherproofing technology, Scott, that's a company for the roofs. That's going fine. Buy board is going fine. Website, email, domain is in full production. Asset management program. Did somebody jump in? Okay. That is a project that's moving forward. I just don't want to repeat myself, so I'm jumping down all these. The high bay garage, major redesign, again, to address 10-year growth plan. And everything else, the rest of the discussion items are somewhat repetitive. I will just jump down to the resolutions. We have all standard resolutions except for escrow. For the additional resolutions, just to explain what they are tonight. One is Lucas Construction. Lucas is doing our emergency work on phase 3, phase 2 and 3 of the Weston Canal Force Main, and that resolution's for their final payment on phase 2. The next resolution is for our performance bond release. That's a bond that we're holding someone's money and releasing it back to them. The next resolution is to enter a co-op so we can purchase through them without going out to bid. And the final 2 resolutions are simply removing residential accounts from our system where they've been capped and are no longer billing. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Scott. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question on that, on the co-op resolution. Is this the time to talk about that?
Yes.
So at the end of that resolution, This is a resolution 21-10, I guess. It says, now therefore be it further resolved that the authority board chairperson and authority board secretary are hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the Franklin Sewage Authority. And it doesn't really say, doesn't specify what to execute. I would think there should be some wording in there to the effect that execute this membership initiative or something. I don't know, but it just doesn't, it looks like there's something missing there.
Maybe Dominic can jump in. His office prepared the resolution.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Mr. Schmidt. Yeah, we could add in, be it further resolved that the authority board chairperson and the authority board secretary are hereby authorized to execute any and all documents on behalf of Franklin Township Sewerage Authority with the North Jersey Wastewater Cooperative Pricing System. I think that'll cover everything that we would need to do in order to become a member.
Good, thank you. That clears it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Does anyone else have any questions? Just a quick question on Weston Canal. So we are on phase 2, correct, of Weston Canal? And what does that in 3? Okay. And what does that entail, phase 3?
So phase 2 was addressing the second break we've had in a year. And we extended the rehabilitation to 90% of the remaining pipe. The last 10% was to rehab the pipe in the area close to the pump station on the same side of the road leading up to the pump station. So that was phase 3. And that phase is delayed because of supply chain and labor.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. With that, we will move on to committee reports. Negotiations and personnel. Is there anything to report? Seeing none. With municipal liaison, is there anything to report in that committee?
No, have a second meeting in August, so no, there's nothing to report.
Thank you. Construction committee? Anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. And safety committee. There were no accidents this month. Thanks, God. Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. All the items are considered to be of routine nature, thereby requiring one motion and 1 second for all items. If any member wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda, please advise me at this time which resolutions need to be handled separately, and they will be addressed and voted on separately. Resolution number 1 is the payroll account of $141,936.57. Resolution number 2, the operating expense account of $150,743.16. Resolution number 3, the general fund of $4,029. Resolution number 4, which is renewal and replacement, which is $621,333.36. And resolution number 5, which is the North Track Crossing, $260,324.61. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Moving on to the additional resolutions. Resolution number 6, this resolution is relative to the account 01770 located at 59 Berry Street. Block 113, Lot 11 is removed from billing with an adjustment of $240.75 in principal. Do I have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Resolution number 7. This resolution is relative to account number 01832, located at 99 Fuller Street, Block 132, Lot 20, is removed from billing with an adjustment of $80 and $255 in principal. Do I have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, actually, quick question. Is that number correct for?
It's $80.25.
Got it. Thank you. Roll call.
Sure. Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Resolution number 8. This resolution authorizes the final payment to Lucas Construction Group for Phase 2 and the first payment for Phase 3 of the WCFM project. Do I have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Resolution number 9. This resolution releases the performance bond number 0753513 in amount of $275,318.40 relative to block 516.0 lot 704. Located on Weston Canal Road, has been cleared for release by the authority and is being returned to Bridge Development Partners, LLC, located at 1 Gate Hall Drive, Suite 201, Parsippany. Do I have a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Resolution number 10. This resolution is for the authority to be a member of the North Jersey Wastewater Cooperative Pricing System, effective September 8th, 2021, and that such membership shall be for the period ending in November 24th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the amendments that were previously discussed.
Thank you. Do I have a second as well as approval for those amendments?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Do we need an executive session?
No, Chairwoman, not this evening. If there was any questions that anyone had, Mr. Bernstein had advised me to let anyone know to just reach out to him directly. He'll give you any updates if you had any questions.
Thanks, Dominic.
Chairwoman, I'm sorry, I'm just remembering now, we do have a discussion item regarding Marcy Street payment application. Mike McClellan may speak to this, the New Jersey DEP contract modification number 1. It's not to change the contract amount, but adding in the items for a 10-inch pipe. That came in from Dave Coates.
Yeah, so basically what happens is there's an item that needs to be added to the contract, and it can be done through the DEP process, and we will do that and get back to you with the details.
Okay, okay.
Do we need a board vote, Mike?
No, I think you're fine. As long as your attorney's okay, we're okay.
You're all right.
Okay. With that, is there anything else? Anything else that I'm missing? Okay. First of all, I do want to say thank you to everyone, especially during this storm. I know it definitely has not been easy, and it has been definitely a trying time. So I appreciate everyone working around the clock to try and resolve some of the issues. And I hope everyone stays safe. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion, Jesus.
And a second?
Second, Ford.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:15.